Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're going to be talking about the astrology for November 2023. I have my angel cards. If you haven't heard my intro, this is a great way to kind of start with that first and then get into the angel cards and the astrology for 2023. We've got some major changes coming, so yay, we've got some major changes coming. Let's start out with November 1st. We do not have any planets in movement or anything else, so we're just going to do an angel card. And I think this is the fun part. I am literally not looking at the cards. I'm looking at the camera so I can kind of see. And I want you to kind of help me pick which one you think it is. I kind of feel like it's this one that is coming forward. Okay, so this card is Sagittarius, and this is all about the expansion. And that's really, the basics of what November 2023 has for us. Is it has a lot of expansion and a lot of growth and a lot of areas that we may not be like, oh yeah, let's do that. This is some stuff that we might go, do I really want to expand in this area? Do I really want to make changes in this area? That is for you to really understand, like, what is it that you really require in this expansion of November 2023, and how far do you want to grow? There's no limit of like, I can only grow this much unless I'm putting that barrier on myself. Are you putting that barrier on you of going like, I only want this much growth or that much growth or this much growth? It's up to you. You've got to make those choices and changes in your life of what you want to do and how do you want this to come out for you. Interesting. So let's go to November 2nd. We have our moon in the sign of Cancer, trining Mars in the sign of Scorpio. So the trine is all about making the easy energy kind of flowing and kind of like really giving each other opportunities, like here, try this, here, try this. And so really our moon is all about our emotions, and it's in the sign of Cancer, which is Cancer is all about being nurturing and supportive, and that energy of just kind of being really healing and loving. Cancers are really healing. So, and then it's in the trining, kind of making that flow easy with Mars in the sign of Scorpio. So Mars is our planet of aggression, action, sex, desires, and it's kind of like puts a lot of action into people. And it's in the sign of Scorpio, and Scorpio can be this kind of like very passionate, very driven energy, and that can be bringing in a lot of changes for us, a lot of kind of new energy for us. And this energy can be super, super high today. And it can be really exciting and bringing a lot of enthusiasm. And it's kind of like for whatever you want to do. So kind of where do you want to direct that? It's almost like a water hose. Like, where do you want to direct this energy at? Where do you want to put this energy at? And enjoy kind of like being that physical drive of like you wanting something. What is it that you want or desire in your life? Where do you want to go with this? Kind of like, what do you want to move into? That's a really important one. It's like, yeah, what do I want? And what am I willing to work into? Let's do an angel card for November 2nd. That's the card. Here we go. Interesting. It's Mars. And this is all about being in motion and action and kind of moving forward with a great energy. So know that it's kind of like, not only is the planets telling us that, but the cards are telling us that as well. This is a day to be in action and going to be changing energy around us. Let's go to November 3rd. We have our sun in the sign of Scorpio in opposite of Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. And so kind of our sun is our ego, and kind of what do we want to bring in? Remember, our Scorpio is all about our passion and our driven kind of side of life. And our opposition is all about like these deep tensions. So it's kind of like, which one's going to win? Where everybody's like pulling, which one's going to win? Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. Jupiter is our planet of luck, abundance, and growth. And it's in the sign of Taurus, which is kind of all about like asking us like steady, driven, what do we value? Kind of like that's going to be really pushing this energy. And November 3rd, really this kind of lazy kind of energy may come over us, and kind of like we were so aggressive and so active yesterday. Now it's kind of like tired. Oh, I'm tired. I really am tired. I really am tired. Just reading this is making me tired. It's kind of like bringing in those difficulties and kind of getting that anything done attitude that was here yesterday is gone. And let's get this. We may have that lack of motivation, a lack of where we want to go. And we may even feel this lack of direction. I don't know what I want. All coming in. Also on November 3rd, we have Venus in the sign of Virgo in opposition to Neptune in the sign of Pisces. And so, like I said, opposition is all about that, creating that deep tension and traction with things. So this could be kind of like Venus in the sign of Virgo. Venus is kind of our planet of love, attraction, relationships, and it's in the sign of Virgo, which is all about being like humble and orderly and like conscious and kind of like bringing everything together, like scheduling everything. And it's in opposition, bringing that deep tension in from Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Neptune is our planet of like dreams, intuition, coming up forward, mysticism, and it's in the sign of Pisces, which is all about the flow and the movement of energy. And this can also bring in that mystical, intuitive side, that imagination kind of coming forward. And this can be kind of feeling, also making you feel, others may be draining your energy, and feel like you really have to like push yourself to do anything. And you know that you should be getting help from others, but maybe you're kind of like tired of asking for it because you're not getting it. This is the time where you need to really work on some great boundaries and kind of setting some limits with other people, and not always kind of just fulfilling with yourself and kind of like, I'll just do it because you're not going to willing to do it. So let's go into November 3rd. Okay, I feel it this direction right there. That's the card. That's the one. This is the first house, and this is all about the arrival. And this is like, how do we start this out? And it doesn't matter which one really affects us more, kind of like Venus and Virgo, and or is this really going to be kind of transferring kind of like that energy into our ego? Kind of like, where do we want to go with this? How do we want to move into this energy? That is kind of a great thing to kind of think of today. Like, which one is like leading me or guiding me where I want to go? Told you I'm tired. November 4th, we have Saturn in the sign, direct in the sign of Pisces. So Saturn is coming out of being in retrograde for a long period of time. It is not completely out. It is kind of getting into that post shadow energy. So it's going to get lighter and lighter and easier as we kind of go up. But Saturn is our planet of really this very structured, what do we want to do? What do we want to create? Kind of like this law, the foundations of stuff. And it's been in the sign of Pisces, which is kind of like opposite. Structure, law, strict. Here we go. And Pisces is like mystical and intuitive and imaginative. It doesn't seem very even, but it's been in this sign. So it's kind of felt a little bit like we want to move forward, but we don't know how, or we don't know what we want. So it's kind of like back and forth, like, here we go. And so this is kind of coming out of this retrograde, and we're going to feel less restrictive and kind of like, I'm ready to let this limitations go. I'm ready to like move into my own intuition, kind of my own imagination. Where do I want to see myself? And this can get a little bit of a breakdown from like karma as well, because Saturn is also our planet of karma. And so this can bring in some spiritual stuff that's been like weighing us down that we're ready to let go of. And I think that's part of, like, if you saw the intro, this is really kind of like that dark night of the soul of kind of like, where do I want to go with this stuff? What is the karma in all of this that I'm doing or taking care of? So this can be like a very interesting energy. Also on November 4th, we have Scorpio in opposition to Saturn in Taurus. So this is kind of one of those like interesting. So also on November 4th, we have Mercury in the sign of Scorpio in opposition to Saturn in the sign of Uranus. And so let's talk about all of this. So we've got Mercury, which is our planet of communication and thinking and kind of like that investigative energy. And it's in the sign of Scorpio, which is all about kind of like bringing out that passion and driven energy and kind of like wanting to find more information. And that's in opposition, kind of like creating this deep tension between that and Uranus and the sign of Taurus. Uranus is kind of like, I love to call it my hippy dippy planet, because it's kind of like all about like, let's change, unpredictability, a lot of rebellion energy and a lot of reform energy kind of mixed up in Uranus. And it's in the sign of Taurus, which is all about like being steady and driven. And really also always asking us like, what are we putting our money and our value into? So this is kind of a great energy for this day. It'll be difficult to kind of control our mental energy, because we're going to be kind of like pushing out in different areas, in different aspects all at the same time. So it's kind of like, I don't know what I want. I don't know where I want to go. And this is going to give us an energy of like setting our mind free. This is a great day to do some meditations and kind of like, where is your mind resting? What problems are causing the issues in your life? Because a lot of times with all of this energy and flow, we're going to feel so chaotic. It'll be like, I don't know where I want. I don't know what I want. I don't know where it is. And so this can bring in a lot of mental energy with us, and that can really bring in some amazing changes. So doing a meditation on November 4th will be really great. So let's do an angel card reading. I like to go the other way. This one is the card. This one is Venus, and this is all about the beloved. And it's really kind of, we are the beloved. We need to take care of ourselves. We've got to self-care for us. We have got to bring in this amazing energy around us, this amazing energy around us, almost like a culture of taking care of things and how do we want things to happen and what do we want to do next and how do we want to deal with all of these things. Because so many times if we don't take care of us, no one else is, and that's not bad. It's just one of those, we have got to make ourselves a priority and taking care of us and what do we require. So that's like a win-win. So let's talk about November 5th. We do not have any planets in motion, so let's just do an angel card for, I felt it back this direction, didn't y'all? All right, there we go. This is the 9th house, and this is the exploration. And this is kind of really a great way to kind of like bring in exploring energy, kind of what do we want to do next? How do we want things to work out? And so because we don't have any planets, doesn't mean there's not anything going on. It just means there's no planets literally in motion. Everything is like just stable. Same as it was yesterday. Here we go. And so this is a great day to kind of like amp up what you desire in your life, amp up what you want to bring in. That is going to be an amazing energy for you for yes, let's bring this in. So let's move to November 6th. We have Venus in the sign of Virgo, trining Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. Let's see. Venus is our planet of attraction and love in the sign of Virgo, which is all about that kind of like bringing in the boundaries and the orderly and the logical thinking. And this is trining, and a trine is all about making the energy easy, kind of flow between the two. And it's between Venus in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto is like our transformative power plant of a planet. or asteroid, it is all about death and rebirth and kind of like this evolution between the two of them. And it's in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorns are all about like being driven and being like strategic of like, what do we want to do, and very disciplined. Like, if this is what we've got to do, let's get this done. So these kind of seem a little bit opposite, but they're really not as much as you think. Passion can be strong on both sides, and it can bring in relationships to you that may feel very emotional bonds, kind of like that great connection right off the bat. And you may feel very emotional about like breaking things up or kind of like changing things off. If not, you may get in work to improve this. So if kind of like, if you're not ready to kind of let something go, make sure that you're ready to make the changes. Because a lot of times like people are like, I don't like the way it is, but I don't want to make changes either. Then you're kind of just stuck. Now you're just aware that you're stuck. So that's no fun either. So make sure that you are kind of like bringing this flow in between the two. And so kind of like, what are the changes that I want to make? And then be ready to make those changes. Also on November 6th, we have Mercury in the sign of Scorpio, trining Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Mercury, planet, communication, thinking, higher thinking. And it's in the sign of Scorpio, which is all about that driven, passionate energy. And it's in a trine, so it's kind of like making that easy flow of energy with the Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Neptune is our dreamy, intuitive planet. In the sign of Pisces, it's all about the magical and mystical flow of energy. This is going to kind of bring in some focus on some projects, maybe some that you've had some like standstill with, or you haven't moved forward, or you've been kind of like waiting for that kind of like idea to pop out. This is the day. This is the day to kind of like, yes, we're going to get this. And let your imagination kind of like run away with you, and kind of like just imagine like, where do you want to go with this? Where do you want to move with this energy? And then start communicating and talking about it and validating it. And that Pluto energy of like bringing it up so we can transform, and that kind of like that amazing energy of like, let's move this energy. Let's not just stay stuck in this. And this can really bring us like some new insights on projects and creative projects, work projects, family projects. Like, what do we want to do? This is, I will say also, because we're getting close to Christmas too, this is a great time to kind of think about Thanksgiving and Christmas and kind of putting all of this together. So we are ready to make these changes. So let's pull a card for November 6th, and going the wrong direction. I kind of feel like it's right here in the front. This is the card. Okay. And the card is opposition, and this is all about the confrontation. And this is a great way to kind of really think about this, of like bringing this energy forward so we can make those changes. If you're not willing to confront it, it's not going to make any changes. You have got to be willing to make the changes to move forward. That's the secret to all of this. Let's go to November 7th. We have our moon in the sign of Virgo, sextiling our sun in the sign of Scorpio. So our moon is our emotions, all of our emotions, kind of like all of that good stuff. Virgo is all about our emotions, about love and attraction. And this is in a sextile, which is all about kind of like finding the collaboration or the flow of the energy between the two. Our sun in the sign of Scorpio, our sun is represents our ego and where we want to go, or kind of like our ego side. Where do we want to be at right now? Scorpio is all about the passion and kind of that driven energy and kind of the perspectives of like, what do we want to do or change? And so this is going to be making some easy energy today of kind of making this take time to take care of yourself, take time to kind of like be in comfort with yourself, but also kind of like, what are the creative things that you really want to change or make differences? What is it that you want to do differently than you've been getting? This is a really great thing to think about this, kind of like, what is those changes that I really want to make? It's an important decision to make. So let's go into November 7th. And I was doing it right. I was doing it right. Okay, November 7th. I don't need to go back. Right there. Okay. This is the 8th house, and this is the mystery. And this is kind of one of those, yay, the mysteries of life. And this is kind of like one of those, like, finding your comfort in things and realizing, like, sometimes when you let things go, they flow back to you. And that's kind of the mystery, because you would think they would flow always away from you. And sometimes they do back off, but they usually come right back. So allowing that to kind of flow away and then come back into your energy can be like, yes, an awesome one. November 8th, we have Venus moving into the sign of Libra. And Venus is our planet of love and attraction and energy. Yes. In the sign of Libra is all about being charming and harmonious, very diplomatic, amazing energy. This is a great time to start kind of talking to people about things that you haven't wanted to talk about before. This is a great one to bring it up in. And I will tell you, kind of this Libra energy also kind of brings in this easygoing, like polished, kind of like, yes, we've got this. I told you I'm tired. This is going to be making Venus moves into one of the signs that it naturally rules over, and this is going to make things so much easier. It's kind of like this, kind of like those old pair of blue jeans that you love to just put on and they feel comfortable. This is kind of that energy with this, of kind of like everything is going to feel comfortable and easy. And this is enjoying like the commitment of this, the diplomatic energy of kind of like being able to kind of control our charm and our energy. And it also may bring in some compromises as well, but make sure the compromise is on both sides. Everybody's compromising something that's going to make it all better. If it's only one person, it's not going to be helping anybody. Also on November 8th, we also have Mercury in Scorpio sextiling Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. So Mercury, our planet of communication and higher thinking, in the sign of Scorpio is all about like that passion driven energy. Sextile is all about creating the collaboration or the flow of energy. Pluto is our planet of death, rebirth, and transformation, and it's in the sign of Capricorn, which is all about like this driven passion energy. So this is all about research and investigating, like what do we want to do, and it can be easier for you, and kind of like what do you want to change, because a lot of times when we're investigating something, we're doing it to kind of feel okay with things. So what are you investigating? What are you researching that you really kind of, I've got to find an answer to this. And this can be very helpful to make new plans and kind of think about outside the box and kind of like, how can I make this better? How can I make changes differently than I am right now? So November 8th, we've got it's that one. November 8th. This is the card Aries, and this is all about actions, and this is all about getting in action. Today, November 8th is a great day to kind of get into action of what you want to do or change or modify, kind of bringing in this energy. Don't just kind of like, got this, don't worry about it. This is a great day to kind of like bring in those changes, and I guarantee they'll take over. They will. Let's move to November 10th. We have Mercury in this moving into the sign of Sagittarius. So our Mercury is our planet of thinking and higher thinking and communication, all forms of communication. And it's in the sign of Sagittarius, which is all about being ambitious and lucky and kind of like this really great energy coming in of kind of like the glass is half full instead of half empty, and kind of bringing this amazing energy with us. This is going to be a really great one for us. Thinking bigger today is going to be like on task for everybody, kind of like that brighter thinking, kind of like with that Sagittarius energy of kind of like looking at the brighter side of things, like things are not half gone, they're going well. You're going to see that a lot. Mercury in Sagittarius can also come up with some big ideas and some big changes, and also making some big plans as well. And you'll see the bigger picture, and you'll be able to be in this optimistic energy and kind of keeping things in order and kind of ready to move forward. So let's pull a card for this. I kind of feel like it's this one. It just kind of popped. There it is. This is all about Taurus and cultivating this energy. Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius is really cultivating a lot of changes for us, a lot of changes that we want to make, a lot of changes that we've wanted to make in the past, but we haven't. So it's kind of like, here we go. I know. This is a great one for us. So let's see. Also on November 10th, we have Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius squaring Saturn in the sign of Pisces. So we just went through this. We already know what Mercury in the Sagittarius is going to feel like. So we've already talked about that just like 30 seconds ago. And it's squaring, which is all about bringing in restrictions and obstacles in some areas. And the obstacles are going to be coming in with Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Saturn is all about our structure and our infrastructure and kind of like our foundations for things. And it's in the sign of Pisces, which is all about that intuitive, mystical energy. So it's kind of like bringing both of these together as well. So we've already done the card. Sorry I did it a little early, but I guarantee you this is going to be a really great one for us of kind of like bringing in like this mental discipline into kind of like what we've been lacking in the mental ideas. And this can also bring in a struggle of like dedicating ourselves to one big project. And a lot of times we've really got to take our time and our energy to move forward, taking your time and moving forward in energy of like, what changes am I ready to make, and kind of finding that mental discipline to kind of make those changes where they've kind of been lacking in the past. Okay, let's move into November 11th. This is the big one. This is one of the big ones. Here we go. So let's first talk about the planetary stuff, and then we'll talk about the 11/11 energy. November 11th, we have Mars in the sign of Scorpio in opposition to Saturn in the sign of Taurus. Mars is our planet of action and aggression. In the sign of Scorpio is all about passion and driven. And then it's in opposition, which is all about kind of like bringing those deep-seated tensions, kind of like pulling each other out of the comfort zone. Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Uranus is our planet of craziness, eccentric, chaotic at times, but changes and ready to make changes over and over again. And it's in the sign of Taurus, which is all about being steady and driven and kind of being patient. And so these are going to be kind of pulling each other. This is going to be a very, very, very highly rebellious day in energy, and it's going to be strong, and you may want to like lash out at people. You may kind of feel this energy kind of like wanting to come up and kind of voice things out. And it's one of those, it's a great way to work on small changes and not really kind of overwhelm yourself, because then you're more likely to like, freak out, here we go. But this is a great day to kind of like be strong, make some changes, and really think about what's coming up next for you. Kind of what are the changes that you want to make, or where do you want to put that changeable energy into it. So we're going to talk briefly here about our 11/11 energy portal. I have other videos out on how I should have at least 2 other videos out by the time this one's coming out about the 11/11 energy, and one will be about rituals and kind of like what could you do to kind of really connect into this energy. So make sure you watch those. Our 11/11 energy is all about kind of accessing or getting into higher realms of spirit energy. And this can also bring in a conscious like effort for us of kind of like, I want to make these changes. I'm ready to make these changes, or I'm like ready to kind of like move up the ladder to get there. In numerology, 11 is always considered a master number. It is considered to be one of the most intuitive numbers, and it carries a lot of strong codes with its activation on the 11/11. It is going to carry a lot of physical ability, a lot of spiritual energy in it, a lot of enlightenment coming in. And this also carries in kind of like the codes of like letting go of the past, because if we're holding on to the past, it's holding us still. And think about it, the words are 11/11 energy portal, and to get through the portal, you got to be in action. I don't care if you're walking, crawling, slithering like a snake, you have got to be in action, or you're not going to get there. So you have to be willing to kind of make some changes. You're going to have to make some discretions of like, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going to change this. So those little bitty changes today are going to make great things coming out for you in the future. I know, it sounds cool. So let's get a card for November 11th. And like I said, I'll have some other videos as well. I kind of feel like it's right there. There we go. There we go. There we go. It's the one in the front. This is our sun, and it is the source of all energy. And for us, I guarantee you it is. And this is kind of a great one because so is our 1111 energy portal. All portals are kind of like a source or a connection back to our source. And so this is a great card to pull out today and just kind of like connecting with that energy. We have got to be in action to make changes and upgrades for ourselves. But I guarantee you this is going to be a great day to make some amazing changes for ourselves. Yeah, we're ready. We are ready to make some changes. We're almost finished with this. So let's go into November 12th. We have our moon in the sign of Scorpio in opposition to Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. So let's talk about our moon is our emotions, and it's in the sign of Scorpio, which is all about kind of that passion driven energy. And then it's in opposition, which is all about creating that tension with Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. Jupiter is our planet of luck and action and moving forward. And Taurus is always asking us kind of like steady, driven, where do we want to go next? What's coming up next? Kind of like this really easy, trustworthy energy. And with both of these together, it's one of those, there is going to be not a lot of energy in play, is not as much as the 11th. So you're going to kind of feel like that lull a little bit. And this may not want us to kind of kick back and indulge. This may be kind of like, I'm ready to kind of take a break, or yesterday was so heavy a day, I'm ready to take a break and kind of take it easy. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Taking breaks are good. Like taking a nap maybe would be good for me, but I guarantee you this is a day that you're going to want to really think about things, not necessarily be in action, but think about things and changes that you're ready to make in this life with this 1111 energy. This one right here is just calling my name. Couldn't get my eyes to move off of it. Okay, so this is the square. And this is all about the tension and kind of bringing in tension. When we are comfortable where we're at, it sometimes can be a really bad place. We get so comfortable where we're at, we don't want to make any changes, and then we don't ever make changes. So it's one of those, it's more about making changes when we get the opportunity. And because yesterday was the 11th and today's the 12th, and we've still got this amazing energy, know that this is the time to kind of make your changes for what you desire in your life. Let's talk a little bit about November 13th. We have our new moon in the sign of Scorpio, and this is going to be an amazing energy. And this, I think, is our first new moon since the eclipse, and it's in the sign of Scorpio. So kind of that Scorpio energy is going to be bringing in passion and driven, and it's going to be a little more intense because it's the first one just past the eclipse. It's kind of like that energy still on that moon, and we've got to kind of get all of that off. But I guarantee you it's going to be bringing a very great nature to it, a very positive energy, and kind of pushing us a little bit more forward. And this can be also bringing us time to kind of work on projects, bring out passion projects for ourselves, or things that we're like, yeah, I'm really ready to get into all of this. Also on November 13th, we have our sun in the sign of Scorpio in opposition to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Our sun is our ego, and it is in the sign of Scorpio, which is all about that passion-driven, Scorpio is all about our passion-driven, emotional energy. And it's in opposition, so kind of finding a little tension with your Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Now, Uranus is our changeable, hippy-dippy kind of planet, always kind of like moving and flowing around. And it's in the sign of Taurus, which is kind of keeping it really stable right now because this Taurus energy is kind of bringing it very steady, driven energy. So we've kind of made changes in a very steady pursuit. And so this is going to be making us like come in of being like, I'm restless, I'm ready to make some changes, I'm ready to go. And you can kind of find that pushback against anyone or anything that's been trying to push you in your box. Kind of like everybody's been like, here, fit in your box again. And it's not going to feel comfortable, and you're going to want to make some changes. This is going to be like, I've got to get out of this. You may need to feel this work or this productive response. Like, where do I want to go in the world? What do I want to make changes in? And this is a really great energy for us. So let's pull a card for the 13th. this one right here, is all about the ascendant, and this is all about the entrance and making those changes, kind of making those changes in that new moon in the sign of Scorpio. Like I said, it's going to feel very intense because we've got that energy right after the eclipse. So it's kind of like, yeah, here we go. Our last 2 days, we've got the 14th of November. We've got our moon in Sagittarius sextiling Venus in the sign of Libra. Now, our moon is our emotions. Sagittarius is all about lucky, ambitious energy. And it's sextiling. So this is kind of making collaborations or flowing energy with Venus in the sign of Libra. Venus is our love and our attraction planet. In the sign of Libra is always bringing in this charming, harmonious kind of energy. Dealing today with others can be so easy, like it's going to be easy. And you can find a great enjoyment in getting in more time with people in your life, kind of surrounding yourself with like harmony and peace and relaxation of like, yes, let's do this. Let's go our angel cards. Sorry. There we go. This is our climate, and this is kind of like our transitions, and this is the climate of like making changes and making upgrades for ourselves. And this energy is just asking us like, pull yourself out of that box and don't stay in it, and kind of get more people in your life and bring in more harmonious people, and kind of like an easier energy with this. It's going to be great. Our last one for the first half of November 2023 is going to be Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius sextiling Venus in the sign of Libra. Mercury, communication and thinking. Sagittarius is all about like ambitious, lucky energy. And it's sextiling, which is all about creating a flow of energy between the two. And this is going to be bringing sextiling Venus in the sign of Libra. Venus is our planet of love and attraction, and it's in the sign of Libra about balance and harmony coming in. Communication is also going to be really easy today and very pleasant. This is a great way to express yourself and kind of feel like you've been heard, but also make your feeling, make other people feel like they're being heard as well, and make sure that you have that eye to eye. I understand and you understand, and not like, I think she understands or I think he understands. Yeah, that's not a good one. So let's make sure that we're getting that perceptive energy in there as well. So let's pull an angel card. I know it gets in the back. That's the one right there. Okay. This is Pluto, and this is all about like rebuilding, kind of like that life and death energy with Pluto. And this is all about kind of like rebuilding communication, and kind of rebuilding what we've gotten in the past with other people, and kind of bringing in that rebuilding of like our expression, like getting our voices out there, getting not only us being heard, but other people as well, and bringing in this amazing energy. I guarantee you, when we feel heard, other people are going to also feel heard. But if they don't feel heard, we're not going to feel heard as well. And so that can really hurt us in a lot of different amazing ways that we're not ready for. We're not ready for. So let's make sure that we're bringing in this harmony energy and really get an amazing November on the books. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.